What makes marketing work? Why can we put together and guarantee the results of a marketing program with your book when you've tried others and they don't? I want to spend some time today talking to you specifically about why other programs go wrong, what kind of things you need to know, and how you can make them powerfully and effectively work for you today. Hi, my name is Steve Kidd. I am a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 40 books and counting. I had the amazingly incredible privilege of working with nearly 5,000 authors, helping them write, publish, market their books to bestseller, and everything that goes beyond that. Um, you know, it's been 40 years now that we've been in business, and we have 100% success making folks bestsellers. I've had the privilege of working with multi-billionaires, doctors, lawyers, Olympic athletes, all those kind of people. But the person that I'm the most excited to work with, honestly, is you. I want to spend the time to help you know exactly, totally, completely, with no, no kind of schemes or scams or things that don't make sense. Just the pure truth of what marketing is, how to use it, how it works, and why and how you can make it work for you and how you can use it for you. Now, specifically today, we're going to talk about marketing your words. And if you don't have what you speak from stage, what you teach in your groups, any of those kind of things, if you don't have them in a book, you absolutely need to. To quote Seth Godin, I love how he put it. If you're writing your book to make money, then don't. But if you want to make money, you absolutely have to have a book. Because, as he went on to say later on in that same talk, I may not need a plumber right now. But when I go to hire somebody, I want to hire the person who wrote the book on it. More importantly, I'll add to what he said, you want to hire the person who's the best-selling author of the book on this subject. And it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter whether it's as simple as, your favorite Italian restaurant or as advanced as nuclear fission, okay, and everything in between. It's not about whether or not you are helping people cure cancer, although I know there's some of you that are, but it is definitely about you doing the things that you're meant to do in this world powerfully, completely, and for the person that you're meant to serve. And that needs to be validated through a book. Okay. Think about it like if you wanted to be a medical doctor, the first thing you have to do is you have to graduate from medical school. What does that mean? It means you're a doctor of medicine, which means that you have shown the ability to take tests. Hey, Timmy, glad to have you here with us. It's shown that you have the ability, the working test-taking knowledge of anatomy and physiology. You know where all the bones and the muscles and the joints and all those kind of things are. And you've done some preliminary work on, on different, whether it be dead bodies that are donated or other types of things that you can do some practice cutting and suturing and those kind of things on. You graduate from medical school, nobody hands you a prescription pad and says, hey, go start prescribing medicine to people. You then go to your internship, and that's where you're going to actually learn to be a doctor. But you have that third party that says, yes, this person has shown more than a proficiency. They have a doctorate level of skill at this particular subject. That's why you can also be a doctor of ministries like my father was, or a doctor of philosophy, doctor of psychology. I have a friend of mine that's a nurse, has a great book called Navigating the American Healthcare System. Great book. And whatever level you're at, whatever kind of healthcare you have, absolutely a book you should get. David is totally a great situation. He's actually a nurse, but he has the proficiency level. He's got the skill level and passed the tests that he has a doctorate in nursing. Okay, so he's technically Dr. David. Okay, although his doctorate is in nursing versus his doctorate being in anatomy and physiology. To some extent, some people would argue that, because he's a couple of steps above, the nurse that you can see at the doctor's office that can prescribe medicine for you. He's definitely a couple of steps above that, as far as skill level and understanding and those kind of things. And he's creating whole programs and systems for entire, like right now, he's working for a corporation overseeing their entire healthcare program for all of their employees to both keep them well as help them when they're sick, and things to do inside the company that they can do to help the people. Okay. That's having a high level proficiency in that thing. But then comes the skill. And again, still just using Dr. David as a perfect example. Then comes the, what is it now? 20 or 30 years minimum that he's been doing that on the grounds. Glad to have you here with us. On the ground, doing the kind of things to run those programs, create those programs, take the proficiency. You see, as we collect those third-party validations of what we've already done, and that's as simple as testimonials, and then moving back to our book, reviews. So first we have to have that documented out. Okay, we need the book to go out. And as I wrote in my book, bestseller is only the beginning. Bestseller is where you should launch your book at. Anybody that's talking to you about launching your book and it doesn't have a guaranteed, by the way, mine doesn't have a guaranteed, we will get your book on the bestseller list when it launches, they don't know how to launch a book. And I hate to be that harsh about it, but that's just the harsh reality of it. In now 2026, if you're listening live, it's just about understanding the SEO that is Amazon and understanding the tweaks to the algorithm that need to continually be done so you can continue doing that. I know there are a bunch of people that try to do the system the way that it was 5 years ago, and it's totally different situation because of how Amazon's done some tweaks in their algorithm. Some of the things are better, some are worse. Okay, but that's a start point. That's walking across the stage and being given your diploma that says you are now Dr. You. That's a third party, in this case Amazon, validating this book did well enough that it made it onto the list, meaning that it sold more copies in a period of time, in this case an hour with Amazon, than any other book, or than all the books that are ranked lower than that. Okay? That is that validation. And then from there, we need ongoing things like testimonials. And in the case of products, goods, and services, that's reviews. You're looking for a restaurant to go to, and you find, you're in a town, you're on vacation, you want to go out to eat. Okay. And you don't know whether this place that has a name of whatever and this place that has a name of whatever, both of them are, say, Mexican restaurants. And that's what you've decided you want to eat, is you want some, but you don't know which one to go to. What do? We look at the reviews. And we see from the reviews, this is what people are saying good about it. This is what people are saying bad about it. That's the first thing we do. Same thing's true with the product. If you went in and looked up something simple like toilet paper, which, you probably already have your favorite. Most people do. Laura, glad to have you here with us. But if you didn't and you were looking it up, you can look at the reviews of, oh yeah, I don't like this toilet paper, it's this or that. Paper towels. Oh yeah, don't buy these paper towels. They may be really cheap, but they're really cheap because they fall apart as soon as they get wet. If you're cleaning up spills, which is pretty much what you do with paper towels, and they fall apart completely as soon as they get wet, it's probably not going to be a good thing for you, right? And it doesn't matter how advanced it could be, your next car, which in most cases you're going to look up that. They're always running those commercials on TV to check the Carfax report and make sure that the car isn't a fixed up version of a car that was in a horrible, disfiguring car wreck that has, a straightened out, but at one point it had, a bent body frame. which is, in most cases a pretty bad thing that you don't want a frame of a car that's been fixed. There are some exceptions to that. I have an uncle who, literally took two cars that were wrecked, sawed the both of them. One had a wreck on the right side and the other had the wreck on the left side, and literally sawed them in half and welded the two of them together and made it into a stock car. I mean, like a race car. The thing could do in his quarter-mile driveway, it could, top over 80 miles an hour in that driveway. An amazing car. But, the dude was, I want to say he was in his 50s then when he was building that particular car, and had been building cars since his early teens. Okay? Most part, you don't want to do that. I don't know why I got off on that tangent. You see, we need signal, not noise. Okay? And I need you to understand the difference between just putting a bunch of effort into something and actually doing things that are going to resonate. Signal is consistency. It's having a clear message and consistently sharing that message. Noise is just going live and yakking on nonstop, which I'm sure sometimes it feels like that's what my lives are, but they really do have intention and purpose. With no understanding of what you are doing or who you are. Hard work doesn't necessarily equal results. Clear, concise, consistent work that creates a signal creates results. That's why reviews for your book, especially, are a huge thing. You get more and more and more people that are reviewing and saying good things about your book. Your book gets more and more and more and more visible. It becomes a signal in the space. You could be one of 100 books that has the same exact title as your book does. But if you're the one that's getting all the 5-star reviews and has all the people saying things about it and consistently is getting people to purchase the book and those kind of things, your book is going to show up as the first book under the name of My Book is Awesome. Because Amazon knows if we if we put this book in the search results, this is the book that the people are actually looking for. You've positioned it properly. You see, the same things becomes true when we talk about social media. You can make post after post after post after post after post on social media. Doesn't mean that anybody sees any of them. Or you can position yourself with a level of expertise, with clarity, clear messaging that you do consistently with the intention of connecting to a very specific group of people. And when you do that, that very specific group of people are going to see and hear and know about it. And maybe nobody else does, but you don't need the whole world to know your message. You need the specific people that you want and that your message is for to hear your message. There's an old saying that says hope isn't a business strategy. Hope is just hoping. It's not faith, it's hope. It's not substantial. Faith is substantive. Faith is based on a set of things that you know to be true. Hope is things that you want to be true. You wish, you think might happen. You hope will happen. Hope is going to, your local store, whether it's a convenience store, grocery store, whatever, and buying whatever the Powerball ticket is, and I didn't look at it recently. Whatever that Powerball prize is right now. And you hope you buy that one ticket, and whether you buy you play the same numbers always, or, you just do a quick pick. Doesn't matter either way. That's hope. You hope that all of those numbers and the Powerball hit so that you can win, the couple $100 million or the one went up to almost $2 billion. That's hope. Strategy, systems, mechanics even, yes, faith. Those are specific things that you do on purpose. When are you posting each day, each week? What specifically are you posting about? Who specifically are you posting to? And how are you validating all of those things in third-party places? Again, brings us back to our book. Where we started is where we're going to end. You need that message to be out there in print. You need it on Amazon because Amazon's selling about 90 to 95% of all books that are being sold right now. And you need it to have ongoingly people that are buying it and reviewing it and saying great things about it. This is an amazing book. This book gave me exactly what I wanted. I had one of my reviews on one of the Romeo books that said, I didn't even know I needed to see a suicidal parakeet in my life, but this gave me exactly the information of what I needed. Now, Romeo the suicidal parakeet isn't designed to be transformational, but it ends up actually having that impact on some people because it's just harsh, stark reality. Truth shared in a hopefully somewhat funny way. And that's what you want to do. And maybe you don't have my snarky wit. Maybe you're, more, philosophical, or maybe you're more technical or whatever. Just be you. The people that are going to resonate with you when you do that, and then you share the visibility. DPA, glad to have you here with us. When you do that consistently, people are going to consistently begin to start finding you. It's a process. It takes some time. Most programs go wrong because they're helping you hope, want, wish, pray, and dream. Sharing with you things that, if you have massive budgets, you could do them. But anybody at whatever budget level they're at can have their words out in print form and can have reviews. And if you need help with that, DM Amplify Review, and let's really get you the exposure, the visibility, the value that you deserve and need in this world. It's not too late. Today is absolutely the day to start it. What you didn't fail because of you. I want you to hear that clearly. Let me say it again. It didn't fail because of you. It failed because you weren't understanding, didn't know, or weren't taught how the system really works. We're here to help you make it work so that you can be visible and valuable in what you do. And we're here, and even we're going to talk tomorrow about why we stay until what we're doing actually shows results and how we want to help you with that. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you're happy, safe, warm, and loved. And until we're together again next time, you have a great week.